What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is gonna be. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is your review for Chasing Atlanta season 4, episode 6. So we are dealing with the aftermath of the fight. Uh, but we thought the fight was over, but it really wasn't. It spilled out into the outside. Troy done went in his trunk and pulled out a tripod. Kendra and Wayne the Pain on the other side. Then Troy done busted a bottle. It was just a whole lot of back and forth and shenanigans. You got Rico trying to keep the whole thing. I mean, everybody really was trying to break the fight up. They finally were able to get, I guess, Kendra and Wayne out of there. And Oliver, Travis, well, everybody except for them two went back inside so they could get themselves together, get their belongings and all of that. Oliver is going off because Oliver is like, we are sitting here acting like purity fools. When we have this great opportunity to showcase what we're doing, uplift the LGBTQIA community. And he told Dario point blank, I ain't filming with her no more. I've tried it. I've done it. I'm done. You show like any other events that she gonna be at, I'm not there. I'm not doing this for her no more. Now, in the midst of the fight, Mr. Troy then called Kendra out her name. He used a slur for trans women and men that I will not say here. And I was like, okay, Troy, you're doing a lot. Now, I know in the uncut version, we saw Oliver call Kendra a he instead of a she, but I really don't think it was any ill intent. I think it was a slip up. But that was an intended slur. Troy, you wrong. You wrong. It wouldn't be okay if it was a white man calling somebody a nigga just because they mad. No, ma'am. You don't get to do that. You are wrong. And I hope that you were wrong. We didn't see Troy the rest of this episode, so, I'm trying to think of what else went down in that scene. Some people finally got a chance to eat. I mean, poor Dominique said he never did get no food. I don't know why you didn't get no food, Dominique, because Oliver was eating. Travis ate. I don't know why you didn't get no food, boo. But yeah, so that pretty much was that. Dominique did have he did confront Travis about the whole situation where he said Travis pulled him on top of him, and Travis apologized because he was like, I just don't have the energy. But at the end of the day, I have seen him at multiple situations and he's had multiple opportunities to address me, but it seems as though he was waiting to do it publicly and in front of everybody else. So at the end of the day, sorry about that. At the end of the day, I apologize, but girl, we could have handled this a long time ago. Troy is upset with Oliver because he's like, Oliver, like, everybody was in there fighting but you. Like, why wasn't you in the fight? Now, here's the thing. Troy, I don't know what ever made you think. Oliver ain't never struck me as the kind of person that, I feel like Oliver is the kind of person that, he keeps something in that backpack that he carry around, and that's about it. That little Coach bag he be carrying. I don't feel like Oliver is the, rah-rah kind of person at this point. He from Miami. I know how the Miami people roll, and I just feel like Oliver don't do no fighting. I'm just saying. And Oliver has never, so you out there fighting and acting a fool, but you mad because he ain't had the same energy you had. But I feel like he's let you know from the beginning, like, that's not what I do. Like, I'm going to call the police, I'm going to file a report, or I'm going to catch you in a dark alley with that little piece of something I got in my backpack. I don't know. But Troy was, like, really mad at Oliver because Oliver was not fighting. And I'm just thinking, now I feel like if something that Kendra threw at Oliver had actually landed, I feel like Oliver might have lost it. I feel like he might have lost it. But in that moment, nah, he wasn't, no. But anyway, so we see Lauren England on a photo shoot, and she's on the phone with her investors. Now, listen. Upon further inspection, this conversation sounds more like she made a deal to be the person on the ground and Georgia in America for them to take care of some stuff. Now, that's what it sounds like to me. And I'm still not knocking it. Like, it still sounds like she got a business deal going on. But, she kept saying, well, what's the budget for this? What's the budget for that? If you made a $5 million deal, it seems to me like that would be your money to invest it however you want to invest it and have your own budget because they gave you $5 million for whatever. But I mean, I'm no business person. It's whatever. But she looked like she working. So you working, you hustling. That's what the name of the show is. Chasing Atlanta. You chasing, you hustling. Do you, boo? It look good. Then we see Rico talking to a friend of his, and Rico was just saying how he's been struggling, being an out gay man in the LGBTQ community, and he was saying how his mom had gotten sick and how much that bothered him being in Atlanta, his mom being back in North Carolina, and how if he hadn't been able to get to his mom and something had happened to her, he got very emotional about it. And his friend, he said, I've met some people down here in Atlanta, but they not people that I have a long relationship with. Like these are people that I'm meeting, that I'm building a friendship with. It's different than somebody you've been with. Y'all done been in the trenches. Y'all know each other like that, And I can agree, and I definitely understood where Rico was coming from. And he said, my mother has always been there for me and been in my corner. And I just feel like if I were down here in Atlanta and I was just partying and I wasn't hustling, I feel like I would be disrespecting her. I feel like I would be doing her a disservice, And I can feel you on that, Rico. I like Rico. I do. I wasn't sure how I felt about Rico at first, but I think I like Rico. I do. Rico, you get MVP because you was working hard. You was working hard like you was the bouncer. Like I hope Andario cut you off for some security check, like money, like you was talent and you was security. Okay, I feel like because you was working at that fight, boo. So then we have Oliver. We finally meet Oliver's boo thing, and come to find out they've been dating for a good little minute. When this was filmed, he said they've been together like a year, which means they've been together for a good little piece of change. He originally met him at a T.S. Madison show down in Miami because he's from Miami too. So two Miami niggas together, hey. And Oliver sort of paid him dust. And then they sort of reconnected. I don't know if they reconnected on social media or whatever, but they reconnected. His boyfriend, I think it's Quez. I don't even want to try to mispronounce that. But he's a dancer. He's done a lot of choreography for different TV shows and stuff like that. And Oliver was like, "Don't let the pirouettes fool you. He Miami. He Dade. He 305. Don't let the smooth taste fool you, okay?" And they got a chance. He said, he talked to him about coming around the rest of the group, and his boyfriend was like, "Look, I don't do the rah rah rah. Like, I ain't got it to do. So if you want me to come around, be sure you really want me there, because you already know if it's some bullshit, you already know how that's going. To turn out." And they also talked about the Q situation again. Listen, I'm sick of this Q. I done told y'all before. I'm tired of the Q situation. Either y'all gonna sit down and y'all gonna talk it out, or we done. I don't want to hear no more about this damn Q situation. But he said that basically his boyfriend was able to give him a different perspective and let him see that, you could have handled things better. And Q really does have a legitimate reason to have a problem with you. And y'all need to, figure out how y'all gonna make it right. And he said, and I feel like that's what he was saying. And last week when he was saying, listen, I'm not above admitting that I'm wrong, but I don't even know what Kendra's issue is for me to say that I made a mistake or I did something wrong. We need to sit down and have a conversation before I can even say, okay, I was right or I was wrong. Because hell, I don't even know what your issue is. Because you're not talking. You fighting, you screaming, you hollering. So then we see Lauren down to the studio, and her little auto-tune song, it was cute. It was a little bop, okay? It was a little head back, like a, okay. I mean, I downloaded for 99 cents down to the iTunes. Okay, it was a little bop, And so we see her and Oliver, and basically Oliver is just reiterating what happened. It was just a scene where he was just telling her what went down to the fight, and she was like, see, that's why I wasn't there. I ain't need to be there. I didn't have no reason to be there, child. See, okay. And then they talked about how her edible arrangement sort of set the whole thing off. She was like, "I, who knew? Who knew that the edible arrangement would set this whole thing off?" Then the last scene we see is with Dominique and his boyfriend. They're celebrating their anniversary, so they're doing a photo shoot. It was a whole lot going on at the beginning of that photo shoot. Okay, Dominique said him and his boyfriend are doing 3 looks. And he had Cameron, Wayne the Pain, and Kendra there. Now, Travis eventually showed up late, child. By the time Travis showed up, listen, what they say, wasn't nothing left but the slow singing and listen, it was gone. Just the benediction was ready. He said he went to stop by Popeyes because he wasn't going to find himself in that same situation without having him a 2-piece, a biscuit, a side of some Cajun rice, some some red beans and rice, and an apple pie. He wasn't going to find himself sitting there trying to scrounge around for a plate of some lobster macaroni. That's what he said he wasn't going to do. But Dominique actually brought a friend of his who's a counselor so they could sit down and talk about what happened. Now, I think that was a great idea, Dominique. The problem was the people who needed the counseling the most weren't there. Now, Kendra, I think, got some stuff out of it. I hope she's listening. Amani Van Zap, she gives her breakdowns on every episode. And one of the things that she did say was, Kendra, I think you are beautiful, but you have to feel it and know it. And I do think that's what she's struggling with. Just because somebody always yells and tells you that they the baddest bitch doesn't mean that they really truly believe it in their heart. And Kendra went on to explain that she had a friend of hers had been killed right before that the brunch, and that she was already sort of in a bad headspace. And she said that, Oliver was sitting there talking about LGBT this and LGBTQ this, and we need to be there for each other, and we need to support each other. And she was like, in my mind, I was thinking, that's bullshit. Like, you're not here to support us. You're not here for us, because if that's the case, then you would be there for me. You would have been there for me. And I'm like, I see your point to an extent. She told us a little bit more about her story, about how, she realized that she started her transition or identifying herself as trans. I think she said at 14 years old. And of course, she said, hell, I didn't even know what was going on. She said that she has been an escort in her past, and that's something that a lot of people in the trans community find themselves getting into, which is sex work. And, not something she's ashamed of, but it just is what it is. So we learn more about her story. And again, I understand her story. And I believe, she didn't even have to tell me none of that for me to know that that was a part of her story. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that anger and that frustration, I get it. I just think that you've got to find a way to talk to people. At the end of the day, you might walk away and say, I still think Oliver ain't shit. That's fine. But you have to have the conversation. You can't just always, when you see him, throw the aggression and expect to get a different reaction. I don't know what to do with that. But I understand the story. And then she said a lot of her frustration is that because she has seen the real Oliver. She kept saying, I've seen the real Oliver. I've seen the real Oliver. And what he puts on for a show, that's not who the real Oliver is. And Dominique was like, but you know what? You got to let him have that. If that's who he is or that's who he chooses to be, you got to let him have that. You can't let him have that much control over you. If he want to be extra and loud and whatever, you got to let him have that, because that don't have nothing to do with you. You can't let it connect. And the counselor, I feel like he gave her some good words. And he sort of told her the same thing. He basically, I need you to see the beauty that we see. I need you to really look in the mirror and see what we see and accept it, So it was a really good conversation. And then when Travis got there, she did apologize to Travis, and he did accept her apology. And Travis said, I could do this. At the end of the day, I don't hold no grudges. It is what it is. And it was really, big of her to apologize to me. So I'm good. And that's pretty much where the episode ended. So again, I think Kendra got something out of it. I don't know where we go from here with Oliver and Kendra. Now, Oliver said he ain't doing no more scenes with her, so I guess that's where we go. I guess we done. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in those comments. Peace.